America was Second Egypt. Ancient artifacts of Joseph, son of Jacob, the Savior of Israel, Grand Canyon, and all over the United States, the Second Egypt. We're continuing with part 2. We have found various artifacts and continue with our reading. His parents made him the co-ruler of Armenia, Media, which is of course today is Persia, Parthia of the Ptolemy Empire. On the tablet was wrote, "The handsome white Helios, called the righteous one by the people." King Alexander Heli II of Judea ruled Judea from Nazareth. Heli in the Bible was the recorded great-grandfather of Prince Alexander Helios. Prince Alexander Helios added 60 ships to the joint navy of his mother, who also built more ships for the total, that we're talking about his mother, Cleopatra VII, built more ships for a total of 180 navy ships, including the ships of King Juba Heli II. And an artifact from the Burroughs Cave, identified as Lux Heli or Helios, Luxem Ptolemy or Luke, in the Lichnia in Greek means light. Lux or Luke means light. Luxem Ptolemy or Luke in the Bible was her brother. The reading on the artifact is Lux Nupta Helion. The translation is light married to Nipta, and Nupta Helion married, light married to Helios. Her recorded Median name Lux Ptolemy. The researched meaning of the Helios or sun symbol meant light of the world. She was born at Kyrenia, Mauritania in 38 BC and died in the United States, the Second Egypt, in 44 AD. She met Prince Alexander Heli or Helios at the Philocrate Temple in Alexandria, Egypt, which was a boarding school. This artifact from Burroughs Cave was identified as an artifact for Luxem Ptolemy. On the right side of the artifact are the 4 Y's. This word was Yahweh, or Yahweh, as we know, the name of God. Luxem Ptolemy became Luke, the apostle for Christ. Another artifact from Burroughs Cave, identified as Cleopa Selene Heli, or Cleopatra Selene I, of the Alexander Ptolemy Heli family. The sun symbol for the King Alexander Heli II family of Judea is on the top of her artifact. She was the recorded mother of Queen Cleopatra Ptolemy Philopatra VII. Her brother was also Joseph in the Bible. The arrow plus the 2 line symbol is the bottom right of her artifact, means that she came to the United States, the Second Egypt, and may have even been a co-ruler at some time. She also was descended from King Zaphna Paneah, that is the righteous Joseph, the son of Jacob, of the 12 tribes of Israel. So she's descended King Zaphna Paneah from Aravis, Egypt, and then along short lines are the numbers of her repeated ancestors that had repeated over and over again from grandparents to grandchildren to her, from her ancestors at the second land of Egypt in America. King Solomon was one of her recorded ancestors that had ruled his empires from the United States. That is the ancient second land of Egypt. At the bottom of her artifact, the circle with the line in the circle meant one, and the left side of her artifact is S and A with a line drawn through the A. On the top is the sun symbol for the Heli is the sun, or the Alexander Ptolemy Heli family. Luke 3 verse 23. And Jesus himself was about 30 years of age, being, as was supposed, the son of Joseph, who was the son of Heli. King Juba Heli II also recorded bringing Cleopa Selene Heli to a land that was unknown to the Romans and the Jews. Another artifact you can see here was removed from Burroughs Cave by Russell Burroughs, identified as an artifact for Circe Heli from Nazareth. Circe or Kirki Heli from Nazareth. That's a Greek name. Luke 3:23 says, and Jesus himself was about 30 years of age, being, as was supposed, the son of Joseph, who was born the son of Eli. Another artifact recovered from Burroughs Cave, identified as King Ptolemy I, who was born in America, the Second Egypt, in 26 BC, became the king of Mauritania from 1 BC to 40 AD. He had co-ruled with his father, King Djibril II, until he wanted to retire. He was the son of Cleopatra Selene II and King Juba Heli II, and also wrote books. He recorded that he became a Christian and wrote that his grandmother Cleopatra VII and her entire family became Christians. On the right side of the artifact is a ship. It is usual that the Helus sun symbol is not on this artifact. It's unusual. Like his father, King Juba Heli II, he loved the sea and liked to travel. King Ptolemaeus I fell foul of Rome because of the economic power that Mauritania had become, but he prevented a war. He got some Egyptian Ptolemy flags by the authority of his uncle Alexander the Elias III, and placed more of his navy ships that had Egyptian flags at his seaports of North Africa. He also traded more with the Viking Mertz Erin, the king of Norway, who also fell foul of Rome. He and Mertz Erin became allies. He traded grain, gold, and animal skins, sails to the king Mertz Erin for iron and musical instruments that had the first metal strings. King Mertz Erin put the sails on his ships and invaded Normandy. The Romans did not dare to do anything about this. And then the Pyramid Mound in Ohio, several artifacts for King Solomon and Christ have been found in Ohio. Even though this is Egyptian-style pyramid, archaeologists have named the pyramid an Indian mound. Historians and archaeologists have identified gold artifacts from Burroughs Cave. Each Egyptian ruler had a separate hieroglyph symbol. Hieroglyphs that King Zephaniah chose for himself was the same. Shu was the Egyptian name for the crocodile in Egypt at the time, and Shu the crocodile was the symbol that King Zephaniah chose. This was the first known crocodile hieroglyph symbol for any king in Egypt. The same hieroglyph was found at the Aravis, Egypt ruins for King Zephaniah holding the staff of the Lord. At the bottom right is a dash, which means number 1, and above that is an X symbol for the first or father. Then above the X is a diamond, each meant greatest of wealth, and above the X is the arrow with the 2 lines, which symbolize the second land of Egypt. Then above that is the elongated W. The W meant a large body of water or the ocean. Then above the W seems to be the landmass with a river in the center of it. King Zephaniah was known to be a wise king in Egypt and knew that Shu, the crocodile symbol, was a more powerful symbol than the bird symbols of the pharaohs of Egypt were. He knew that he would be worshipped as a very powerful god by the Egyptians that were not of Semitic descent. The very same symbol was found in the ruins of the temple of Amun at Aravis, Egypt, which was the location that King Zephaniah, the king of Egypt, was the king of Egypt for 48 years. King Zephaniah was also a writer. His grandson Azrael was the next king of Egypt. Azrael was a writer as well, like King Zephaniah. Azrael was known by another Egyptian in their own language. Azrael was King Maibre Shushi. Maibre Shushi meant son of Shu in their Egyptian language. His grandson Salitis Maibre was the next crocodile king of Egypt and was also a writer. Artifacts from Burroughs Cave, the stone tripods, pictured the right on the top of the tripod, the exact location mark for the Kahota Pyramid City in Kahota Mound State Park near Collinsville, southern Illinois. Then the other picture in the back of the stone has some star degrees and math for figuring star degrees, celestial bodies. Gold artifacts from the Egyptian Tunnel City in Illinois. Most of the artifacts from Burroughs Cave are still privately owned. A museum for some of the Burroughs is now being found in Florida. The only Egyptian artifacts on display in the Smithsonian Institute are Egyptian artifacts from Egypt and a few small artifacts from the Grand Canyon. Archaeological meaning of the tall image with the crocodile-shaped head on the left of the artifact means the supreme king of the entire symbol, and the rest of the artifact describes his empire. In the middle of the artifact, the symbol arrow and 2 L's symbolize around the symbol, meaning that He ruled both Egypt by the Nile River and the second land of Egypt in the states at the Ohio River as well, Ohio. Shu, the crocodile god, was the most feared animal in Egypt, became the Egyptian hieroglyph of most powerful Semitic kings and rulers of Egypt. All of the pharaohs of Egyptian descent in Egypt had bird hieroglyph symbols instead of the crocodile, symbols of the recorded Semitic Canaanite kings of Egypt. Other artifacts recovered from Barrow's Cave: stone maps of the Ohio River. It's now named the Mississippi River. The archaeologists consider this an important artifact. The Ohio River was the name of this river recorded in ancient Atlantis books. On the right side of the map is FXI, the first Egyptian cave in Tennessee. F also meant family in the Armenian Semitic language of Armen, the king of Zaphna, spoke and wrote. He could also speak the Egyptian language, but he only wrote in the Semitic Armenian language for Shem. The ITITs were some ancient copper mines were located in Ohio. This is the end of part 2. Part 3 follows in the next video.